Concerned economist and lawyer have their say on the budget. PM welcomes opposition's challenge to recall Parliament. And new lending products for NCSL members.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Wednesday's news. The opposition camp has described yesterday's parliament sitting as a mockery of parliamentary and democratic processes and principles, stating that the 2021 budget has added on another 6 billion kina debt onto an existing 10 billion kina borrowed by the government in just 18 months. But the government has boasted that the loan incurred is soft loans and needed to address outstanding debts. Meanwhile, Prime Minister James Marape has welcomed any court challenge.
The opposition team in Vanimo in a media statement calling out the passing of the budget rushed and an apparent new record in budget passing as it was passed in under an hour. Opposition stating the budget books were not even tabled and questions over the certification of the bills by the Solicitor General and First Legislative Council remains. The opposition benches were empty yesterday and the usual shadow treasurer's response to the budget did not take place. In the statement, opposition says the budget adds on a 6 billion kina more debt onto the already 10 billion kina debt incurred by the government in the last 18 months. While opposition lawyers have indicated that court proceedings will be filed, yesterday Prime Minister James Marape welcomed the opposition's moves to go to court.
The court is open. Trust me, I will not go into courthouse as Belanama did in 2011 to chase a sitting Chief Justice out of courtroom. We are not stupid as that. We will be saying if they go to court, we will go to court to ensure proper interpretation of processes are done with. In fact, I've instructed my own lawyers to go to court to affirm the provisions of law and the default and the abrogation of law that took place last Friday.
Meanwhile, Petroleum Minister and a once Attorney General Karen Gokua after the budget also supporting PM that no laws were broken.
Okay, on Planupla decision. I'm just implementing decision block Parliament made, validly made, properly made on the motion of our Minister last September sitting block Parliament. So nobody has hijacked the process of Parliament. No got one pla man lo side block Prime Minister Marape, Burkim one pla law, we pla bianim law straight.
But one cannot ignore the fact that in the history of budget passing in Parliament, this was the first where members of Parliament had no budget books in front of them. There was no debate of the budget and only 2 MPs spoke briefly on it. There was no budget lockup for media to scrutinise the numbers, and nearly half of the members of Parliament were not present to represent their constituents' views of the 2021 budget. Adelaide Sirok Sakari, National EMTV News.
Former Prime Minister and member for Yalibu Pangia Peter O'Neill, after withdrawing an urgent application yesterday to stop Parliament from sitting, successfully filed a new Supreme Court application today. The application seeks to ask the court to first declare his standing to make this application and after the declaration interpret different sections of the Constitution and Section 1, 2 and 3 of the Organic Law on the calling of meetings of Parliament. He's asking the court to declare recalling of Parliament yesterday, passing of the 2021 budget and the adjournment of Parliament April 20th, 2021 all unconstitutional and illegal. United Resource Party leader and member for Hagen, William Duma, will probably go down in PNG's modern politics history as either the smartest politician or the most confused. The decommissioned minister abandoning the opposition camp for government yesterday. Duma explaining he was apparently confused and had only realized his mistake and rejoined government.
Decommissioned Minister William Duma yesterday explaining why he had left government. His reason? He was apparently confused.
Ladies and gentlemen, some Wednesday on Friday, it caught all of us by surprise now. Like I echo the sentiment made by the Minister for Petroleum. Confusion come under confusion. So if you read the standing orders and the organic law carefully, power of joining parliament and rest on the leader of government basically, and then if he is absent, a minister.
While the United Resource Party leader explained his confused state of mind, lest we forget last Friday when he joined the opposition rank and gave his explanation for leaving government, the minister clearly stated his reasons.
I must emphasize that I've also been in parliament for quite a long time, and I've served under so many different prime ministers. I've seen the performance of the economy, ups and downs over the years. Most of you will remember that when our Prime Minister, James Marape, announced his decision regarding POGRA, I was one of the first national leaders to actually support this decision because I believed in our economy being controlled by our people. But I later realized, as we progressed through, I realized that there was no plan B. So my difficulties have always been trying to reconcile the ever-increasing demands of our country and the limited resource base and the lack of manufacturing capability of our country, and the apparent inability of the government to be able to close some of the very important deals, such as the Papua LNG and the prolonged POGRA gold mine issues. So those are the reasons why I've decided to leave the government and to be able to form this new partnership with fellow like-minded leaders who I believe will be able to set out a new pathway for this country.
Prime Minister James Marape welcoming him back on Monday to the Lolawata government camp, and on Tuesday allowing Duma the spotlight to explain his decision.
We were caught off guard by one or two who were running this dubious scheme beyond the lines. So he will say on what happened on Friday.
But as always in PNG politics, no coalition is final and as always unexpected to the very last minute. And in Mr. Duma's case, realization can come at any moment.
All the Sunday Government on Friday, it caught all of us by surprise. And what we've done is simply undo the wrong and set it the ship for our country.
Adelaide Siraks-Kari, National, EMTV News.
The national budget has become a victim of movements on the floor of Parliament and different strategies on both sides of the House over the last few days. Institute of National Affairs Executive Director Paul Barker told MTV News today that this is unfortunate as the budget is an important document as far as the business community and the public at large is concerned. Mr. Barker says the full budget cycle was not followed in the tabling and passing of the 2021 budget yesterday.
Many were caught by surprise when Parliament was recalled yesterday to have the 2021 budget tabled by the Treasurer and eventually passed on voices. Even most opposition faction members were in Vanimo, and others who were still in the nation's capital tried to file a court application to prevent the Parliament session from proceeding, but was unsuccessful. Whilst copies of the Treasury Minister's speech and the budget strategy paper were made available yesterday, the actual budget documents were not available until this morning. Economist Paul Barker from the Institute of National Affairs, in speaking with MTV News today, said he only received or had access to the actual budget documents this morning. This concerns Mr. Barker and says the importance of the budget has been undermined due to political factions wanting to assume power.
The budget, which is the most important single piece of action, the money plan that comes up each year, usually in mid-November, became a victim of what was another agenda that both the sides of the House had, which is unfortunate because the budget is such an important document, and it is really important that the parliamentarians have a proper chance to examine it, to debate it, to discuss it with the wider public in a way, and that the media has a chance to participate in the budget lock-up.
The normal budget cycle that commences weeks before the handing down and passing of the budget in Parliament in November every year, as well as legislating it and distributing it to relevant parties afterwards, was either not followed or shortened.
But nevertheless, it was rushed through, and it does undermine that important function of the whole budget cycle where you have, as per the Fiscal Responsibility Act, you're meant to have about 3 weeks in advance of the budget. You have the budget strategy paper and you get some consultation of that. The government discusses the budget with the budget parliamentary committee, and then it goes into the budget and tabling, and then you continue.
With the vote of no confidence motion moved at almost every opportunity over the last decade in various terms of parliament, political stability has become a concern for Papua New Guinea, resulting in policy uncertainty.
At the moment, we've got a level of policy uncertainty which whoever is in government, they need to try and address. So we've got a number of SME policies and legislation, mining, petroleum, issues to do with state-owned enterprises, issues that relate to equity sharing, all of these. Some of them are reasonable issues for the government to be addressing or to be updating. But nevertheless, if you drag the process out and there's extended uncertainty causes businesses to defer investment.
Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
The Parliament Speaker should urgently seek advice from the Chief Justice and the Supreme Court to correct matters of national concern, including the adjournment of Parliament by a majority last Friday and the calling of Parliament yesterday by the Speaker. Esteemed private lawyer Alois Jerwai gave his neutral views on the events of the past few days, starting last Friday, interpreting the organic law that the Speaker depended on to resume Parliament yesterday, where the 2021 budget was passed.
There's so much been said about the events of both last Friday and yesterday, where a budget was passed by voice with no opposition, no debate, no budget books and no budget lockup, as is traditional over the years. This came following Friday's surprise turn of events when a good number of government ministers and members moved to opposition, and the opposition, using its numerical strength, moved the motion to adjourn Parliament to December 1st, presided by the Deputy Speaker, Connie Iguan. With the Speaker resuming duties on Monday, identified a loophole in the adjournment process and called for Parliament to resume on Tuesday 10 a.m. And when Parliament met on Tuesday 10 a.m., only one part of the House was full, and because they had a quorum, they proceeded with the passing of the 2021 appropriation bills and the budget. All these has drawn criticism, both positive and negative, from citizens far and wide. Alois Jerwai is a private practitioner and, as a senior lawyer, provides his interpretation of the Organic Law, Section 21A1, on which the Speaker relied on to call for a resumption of Parliament yesterday.
The first is that in his absence, the acting Speaker who acted in his place had already entertained the motion and allowed it, and the resolution was carried. The Parliament was adjourned. And on the principle of functus officio, the Speaker cannot return after that absence and revisit the acting Speaker's entertainment of the motion.
He says the Organic Law suffers a major constitutional issue as it restricts the rights of other MPs to move motions, a right given to them under Section 50 of the Organic Law.
Namely, the right to move a motion to fix a meeting of the Parliament. And for this law to be valid, it must say that it will restrict that right. And that right arises under Section 50 of the Constitution. Subsection 1, C, D, and E, and also subsection 2, which gives every one of us the right, through our leaders, to engage in all matters of the Parliament.
And Jerwai cites similar cases in the past.
For instance, I was involved in the application to the Supreme Court to nullify the NCDC, National Capital District Commission, Amendment Act, that removed members of Parliament from the board of the Commission of NCDC in 2001.
His advice is for the Speaker to take the initiative to correct this before December 1st.
However, the most expeditious way in which the Speaker can have these issues resolved is to seek the advice and interpretation of the Chief Justice, and if necessary, the Chief Justice and other senior judges in court.
Meantime, the Speaker on Monday defended his clerk's failure to advise the Deputy Speaker of his oversight. He said they all were caught in the events of Friday, where there was an exodus of members to opposition. To this, Jerwai said, a clerk of Parliament should always be a lawyer, someone who knows the law. This would have helped Parliament avoid such a blunder. Their failure to advise the Deputy Speaker well has led to a chain of events. The opposition is understood to be in the process to file a case against what happened yesterday. Ruth Rungula, National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. The day's other stories when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The passage of the law allowing for the creation of an independent commission against corruption has been hailed as an important step forward by community advocacy group Act Now. But the group is warning that it is too early for any celebrations. Campaign manager Eddie Tanago said there will be nothing to celebrate until a fully functioning commission has been established and the first successful prosecutions resulting in senior public figures being put behind bars. He said the government now needs to immediately put in place the regulations that will guide the operation of the commission, ensure it has a generous budget and appoint the first credible commissioners. Act Now believes it will also be vital that the ICAC is set up as a truly independent constitutional body, but it is also concerned about loopholes in the legislation, which means the commission may end up not being free from political influence. The Justice Foundation for Porgera is calling on the state to leave Barrick Gold Limited out of any negotiations. Chairman Jonathan Pariah says because outstanding legacy issues created by Barrick remain. In a news conference in Port Moresby yesterday, Chairman Pariah said SML communities have suffered enough because of the mine's operation by Barrick.
Stop using those people who have no legal standing.
The Justice Foundation has come out again expressing concerns over the Porgera mine. Speaking in Port Moresby, Chairman Jonathan Pariah says Barrick must not involve in any negotiations for the mine due to the fact that legacy issues were not addressed while operating the mine.
So we call on government for that reason to stop dealing with Barrick in the new SML. Allow the Kumul Mineral Holdings and the Porgera SML landowners and Engam provincial government to negotiate the way forward to reopen the mine as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, a recent stakeholder meeting between Barrick and a faction of the landowners in Porgera has been dispelled by the Justice Foundation. The foundation claimed the group does not represent the mass communities of the concerned SML.
ECEPA had been acting ultra-virus or without power, and that excludes or includes ECEPA's decision to appoint Dick Pundi and Maso Mangape and others who are claiming to be representing landowners. So, in other words, they have no standing to represent the landowners.
Meanwhile, Justice Foundation is concerned that Porgera mine has been used as a reason in the current government coalition breakaway. A spokesperson says Porgera people suffered for years and why national leaders ignored their plight in the past years.
Ibla istabwa, tay mi bla kisimpen, mi bla ngere, mi bla saba. Ibla kamab government not solo asneta so ibla government kamab no ibla toto istab. No got the same ibla long talk to la issue bla Porgera.
Jack Power Jr. National MTV News.
Nest Fund Contributors Savings and Loans, or NCSL, has extended its lending products with the announcement of 3 more today. The new lending products include a higher ratio 1-to-5 loan, corporate motor vehicle loan, and small to medium enterprise or SME loans. These new loan offerings are now available for NCSL members who meet the eligibility requirements.
In a media conference this morning, NCSL CEO Wari Lahui announced the new loan products they are offering. The products include high-ratio 1-to-5 loans, corporate motor vehicle loans and SME loans. These lending products will allow NCSL members to enjoy high borrowing limits and to have access to funding, which will allow them to build asset base and participate in small business activities. The new loan products were agreed through a workshop held recently and approved by the Bank of PNG, and there are specific terms and conditions for the new products. To be eligible for the 1-to-5 high ratio loans, a member must bank with NCSL for over 12 months with an annual salary of over 50,000 kina. The corporate motor vehicle loans has a 16% interest rate with a repayment time of 5 years and requires a corporate guarantee from the employer. SME loans will be made available for startups and existing businesses with a 15% interest rate.
Those specific terms and conditions and the parameters of the products are there for a reason, and one of them is that because we are entering into products that have a higher risk profile, we need to ensure that we have those terms and conditions that are in place to help us better manage those risks associated with these new lending products.
With the introduction of these loan products, their expectations of a faster turnaround time given the different risk profile. However, the introduction of the electronic service delivery channels and the automation process has allowed for a faster turnaround time for loan applications.
Today, we managed to deliver on one of those applications today, and then we tested the whole process on the 1-to-5 loan, and I'm pleased to say that despite little issues, we managed to get that through, and we believe that we now have the process in place to ensure that we are delivering and meeting the customer expectations in terms of the turnaround time.
The CEO adding that NCSL is focused on delivering quality and efficient services to meet members' need and rising expectations. More information on the loan products is now available through NCSL website and brochures. Rayon Lakingu National, MTV News.
Smallholder growers who supply oil palm to New Britain Palm Oil Limited now have the opportunity to save for retirement with Papua New Guinea's leading superannuation provider Nest Fund. Through the fund's EDA Super product, an initial 700 smallholders have already signed up to begin superannuation contributions under this arrangement facilitated by NBPOL. A ceremony to launch this initiative was held recently in Kimbe, West New Britain.
Representatives of Nest Fund, NBPOL, smallholder growers and provincial government witnessed this significant occasion. Speaking on behalf of Nest Fund, Ann Wilson spoke highly of the initiative NBPOL has taken to facilitate contribution for its smallholder growers. Wilson says this partnership is just the beginning.
It's one that is a blueprint for how we can engage with our smallholders, not only in West New Britain, but right throughout Papua New Guinea. This is only the beginning of a long-term partnership to provide leading superannuation services to our people.
Through the fund's EDA Super product, an initial 700 smallholders have already signed up to begin superannuation contributions under this arrangement facilitated by NBPOL. This strategic partnership with NBPOL now enables smallholder growers to have peace of mind that their hard work will reap rewards when they retire, with superannuation savings now being contributed.
It is because of you, NB+ staff, and it is because of you that Nest Fund continue to ensure that we provide the services to enable you or look out in you, God time you lapun, but also the benefits while you walk.
This occasion is even more special as it is Nest Fund's first engagement with smallholder growers under NBPOL in this industry that is essential to the economy not only in West New Britain province but nationally as well. With the smallholders now a part of the Nest Fund family, they can also receive the benefits that come with saving with Nest Fund. This initial member contribution of 100,000 kina was presented to Nest Fund by NBPOL on behalf of its first batch of smallholder growers who registered for the fund's EDA Super product.
Definitely encourage everybody. There's 8,300 growers participate in this funding because not only the win-win situations, they can have the fund, they also grow their oil palm estate to get more yield.
Annette Cora, National MTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina is buying $0.2775 US dollars, $0.3760 Australian dollars, $0.2257 euro and 28.24 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee, cocoa and copper closed higher. Crude oil is trading higher, palm oil closed lower and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 167.09 points lower. The ASX 200 is trading at 32.89 points higher. And the All Ordinaries is trading at 28.67 points higher. National EMTV News continues with more stories after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Procedural matters have delayed submissions in the Bosip Kaiwi case that is currently before the Waigani Committal Court. The matter returned today. Police prosecution submitted their files to the defendant's lawyers. However, today they informed court that they made minor amendments to their files and would like to hand over to court. The intention to serve the amended police files was objected by Kaiwi's lawyer, Matthew Wenge, from Luther's lawyers. Wenge argued that it was unfair to hand over an amended hand-up brief or the police file to court when they had already based their submissions on the original hand-up brief. Magistrate Tracy Ganai took the points into consideration and adjourned the matter to Friday to make a decision. Ward councillors in Mulbaya Lumusa electorate are undergoing important week-long induction training conducted by the Department of Provincial and Local Level Government. The LLG induction training will identify the ward councillors' roles and responsibilities in the district and the community level. The department has also reintroduced the ward record book system for ward councillors to have a database system in place of service delivery.
The induction training is based on the organic laws of provincial and local level government laws and Administrative Act. Ward councillors, as the legislators in this third level of government, must know their roles and responsibilities in order to deliver services in the districts.
Basically, we will tell them this is where your roles start and where your role ends, and where the administration starts and where the administration ends, so they can work in harmony and complement each other.
One way is the reintroduction of the ward record book system so that each ward can have reliable data and information for effective planning and budgeting.
So in that way, we will have reliable and up-to-date data so that we will know the real needs of our people in the community.
The training is also a refresher for these village ward councillors. As leaders on the ground and who are always with the communities, they will carry out their duties like maintaining peace, law and order, doing community cleanups, water and sanitation projects, and supplying reliable information to the DDAs for service delivery.
Church mi blamba building, elementary school mi blamba building, clean up roads mi blamba. This kan lo community ba clear na len this legally kind of development mi yet ba making long districts.
The program is the initiative of the Mulbaya MP Koi Trape to recognize ward councillors for their services. A 1.2 million kina funding was made available for the 120 ward councillors to undergo the training and to put to good use their 10,000 kina for each ward.
Our district administration, office of the member, we will make sure that the councillors are delivering small projects at their level.
Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Families in Arati, Yufa and Samagoni in Goroka districts, Gahuku LLG, are now enjoying a clean environment after adopting healthier and proper hygiene habits in their households. The improvement in living conditions at the village level include the beautification of houses, flower gardens and proper disposal of both human and animal waste, including other rubbish. Gahuku and Mimanalo rural LLGs are the only two that are included in the hygiene component of the water, sanitation and hygiene or WASH program rolled out in Goroka district.
Located in the Goroka district,
The testimony of these communities is similar to others that are included in the Cleanpella Community Project. From building wash facilities from bush materials to the beautification of each household in Arateufa and Samagoni, these locals have a reason to celebrate.
Na time me iga this la school talk me put him tipitet me go inside the toilet na camera side. And me sawa same right man now yeah. And me no got sick.
Goroka District is the fourth implementing district selected for the national government's WASH program that is piloted in 4 districts throughout PNG. In Eastern Highlands, a partnership approach is taken by Oxfam as the lead implementing agency in the EU WASH-funded program targeting 200 communities.
Work and come up finish you certificate please. Next something how about you continue one time this work? Not plus something. You know now you get him certificate now tomorrow you lose him. You know look at the toilet or walk him hand washing station or put his soap or wash him hand. This time not plus something so talk encouragement so you please keep him this project and go now.
Through the behavioral change program, locals have volunteered to shoulder the responsibility to form hygiene communities to enforce the national government's WASH policy.
This la paper you plan but talk na so government or say you plan line the work no got something you plan look at but you plan work like it's something we can tell the community.
Time you plan looking must notice board and stand up here billboard and stand up and show him must but me make you want him you must change.
Arateufa and Samagoni becomes the 4th and 5th communities to meet the health criteria under the Cleanpella Community Project to be awarded an open defecation-free certificate and declared healthy communities. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News, Goroka.
And Chuka Sports is next. Fidley Sukina is at the sports desk.
Thank you, Helen. Cricket Fun Day and JT Nines Super Nines rugby gets underway. Join me for Trukai Sports after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Good night and welcome to Trukai Sports. Children with special needs were out at the Bisini Cricket Grounds attending an All-Ability Fun Day hosted by Cricket PNG. It was all smiles and fun for the children despite the scorching heat.
Cricket PNG's Cricket for Good department hosted an All Abilities Fun Day 2020 with 3 special needs institutions at the home of cricket in the nation's capital.
It's not only in commemorate for the particular Universal Day for the children, but also we want to commemorate the day for PWD, the Person with Disability Day.
Cheshire Homes PNG, Kalang and Red Cross Specials Education students and teachers with caretakers celebrated to mark the Fun Day with Cricket PNG facilitators.
Significant part of it is the parents' involvement and the inclusion of their time and their effort in coming here to enjoy the day with the children.
Cricket for Good Program Manager Margaret Sibona acknowledged the presence of parents and caretakers in marking the day.
We are so happy to have them on board for our C4G program in Cricket PNG.
According to the program manager, All Abilities is a target area for the Cricket for Good department as it encapsulates social inclusivity and gender equality.
We will be really happy to go even in other provinces if you are willing to come and help us to fund the program.
While the interest in the program is growing rapidly, especially in the nation's capital, C4G hopes to go nationwide come 2021. This, however, is dependent on availability of funding.
The only component we are all facing now is with COVID is the funding.
Kilawani, Trukai Sports.
The Justin Chachenko-sponsored JT Super 9's Rugby League tournament kicked off yesterday at the newly opened Mosby South Stadium at Gabutu in Port Moresby. A total of 48 teams are taking part in the week-long tournament. It was a good turnout today on the second day of the JT Super 9s down at the new Mosby South Stadium. The Super 9s Rugby League tournament will be played over a week with teams across NCD and Central Province.
Got about 48 teams registered. Mosby South, NCDC and Central Province that have come here. It's a week-long tournament. All teams play one game a day. Thursday we go into the top 16 and then work our way up to the last two teams that actually play on Sunday.
The atmosphere has been great at the new stadium and teams have been entertaining in the shorter format of the game, with cup winners expected to walk away with 20 grand.
Cup winners walk away with 20 grand, runners up 10,000, plate 6, bowl 4, and then plate 6, runners up 4, and then the bowl 3, 1.5.
So far so good. There has been good crowd control at the gates of the stadium and a good family atmosphere, with organizers happy that the stadium can provide revenue going forward because of the tournament.
The last 2 days have been good. No major issues. A lot of people enjoying the venue, the seating and the scenery around here. We've no hiccups yet so far, so far so good, but see how it ends up at the end of the weekend. Now we have the venue going, it supports with taking care of some costs, so the stadium comes with the good side of the stadium. It helps us cover costs. Yeah.
And Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
And welcome back to Trukai Sports. Being a professional boxer is challenging, especially if you are to maintain your training and also juggle work and life in the city of Port Moresby. Junior Kaukoraka has been trying his best to rally support so that he can realize his dreams of becoming a champion pro boxer for Papua New Guinea. Junior Kaukoraka is an average Joe and is working at Curtin Brothers, but he is undoubtedly the best shot for a World Championship boxing title for Papua New Guinea. But he needs support to balance out work and training.
Curtin Brothers give me room now when I'm low workplace, so me start go come low work easy and then come straight training, go back and long up. So lo side but Islam was black and hard work, but so me sacrifice me at suppose so all sponsors come in lo me now, so me looking me up now me can lo towards lo game lo me can like put him work me on hold, and then we can support him at low sponsorship. Suppose mix him sponsors who can concentrate on training before game bloom finished, and then we go back and work.
With a World Boxing Council title shot in line for the young boxer, he has been rallying support, but it has been hard at times.
Me plan make more fundraising sebelum me plan lo dynasty, but been come up because lo COVID too all me plan put him out or let us go outside. No got from the companies willing lo support him sa fundraising blah where me plan paying venue, but no got so me plan postpone him. Me plan been arranging mantem PM lo support, but me plan still go wait him at support blame, because once I put him support, me plan can go on lo training plan diet blame lo slows.
He says he is not giving up though and will be working hard on securing sponsorship.
Tupla MPs blumi member blo Talasia lo Kimbe West New Britain na TYCSC lo Sialum Morobe, so can come support me team Raka lo societal game lo mem tupla member blumi me look forward lo asking tupla, but me no catch him to play.
He says that those that have had opportunities to fight professionally outside of Papua New Guinea in the sport of boxing have been successful. And he adds that all he needs is some government and corporate support for him to have those same opportunities outside of Papua New Guinea.
Jason Maloney and Andrew Maloney am now to play outside world or play the world title where me been stop same development squad for Australia and PNG. Now only hit him world states where no country me stop it. Me started so me try my best lo me lo kamantap. But suppose all sponsors lo business houses na kapan lo me bla suppose all chipi min good lo lulu good lo me bla all mangi na chipi min me bla can go as far as world champion me bla can go.
And that story wraps up True Kai Sports. Helen will be back with the weather report for the next 24 hours. Bye for now.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus. With you always.
I'll look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Partly cloudy with possible showers and thunder, then fine in Port Moresby. A few showers, then fine, although partly cloudy in Daru. Thundery showers, then cloudy in Kerma. Fine, although partly cloudy with evening showers in Alutau. And partly cloudy with evening showers in Popondita.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus. With you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Wednesday, the 18th of November 2020. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team right around the country, pleasant viewing. Good night.